Yeah, it's Tsotsi Funk TV, man. We got Mathibe Godfrey Pilane part 2 again.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man, all is good, all is good.
All is
Beautiful
good, all
night,
is good.
all beautiful nights,
Yeah.
all is good.
All is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna last time we spoke about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Basically your biography, you know, how you started, your
Yo.
love for music. Yeah, we spoke about a
We
lot.
spoke about a lot of things.
A lot of things. But now it's part 2 again. We can either take it from where we left off that time, or it can be a Q&A. It's up to us. There's really no pressure.
Yeah.
There's really no pressure.
I love that.
You know
We can
what I
do
mean.
a bit of both, you know, just mix it up in the air. But you know, we can do the Q&A, whichever is comfortable for both of us. I'm cool.
Yeah. For like the audience that loves TS again.
Yeah.
I believe that you partnered with TS in terms of that led to the release of our album.
Yeah.
How was that process for you?
Okay. I think it's best for the benefit of your audience, you know, your viewers, that I cannot take them back.
Okay.
I'll go far back as how I met TS.
Okay.
And she has a better memory than me on what happened, you know, at that time. But I'll do my best.
Okay.
So what happened is, like I said in the you know, our first session, that I dealt with a lot of talent and stuff like that. You know? So and also I was also part ya Mabana, so to speak.
Yeah.
So when I was there, she came through, you know, and she was still in school then. I'm talking to Lota, you know, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 years ago. So she came through. Her idea was to develop her music, you know, especially from the voice point of view.
Okay.
And funny enough, because of my involvement with vocalists and bands and so on, she was referred to me. You know, I don't believe in coincidence. You know, I believe in intertwined destinies or intentions. So I think that was meant to be. You know,
it had to happen.
It had to happen that way, because I think it clearly explains why now we're still together. So she came through, and I was in one of the studios, you know, on piano, and then she knocked, and somebody has referred her to me. Hey, look, I want to sing, blah 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 blah. And normally when a person says that, you say, okay, what can you do? You know, try to be just to find out what the person does. Okay, 1, 2, she sang one of her favorite songs, and Lord behold, before she even finished the track, I stopped her, and I called one of my friends who was in the band that I was playing with, you know, one person that I really trust. He's a bass player. Unfortunately, he's late now. I called him and said, hey, man, come and listen to this. You know, he came. His name is Wiz. We call him Wiz because one heck of a bass player. Yeah. You know, he came in. He also listened once, and I said, that's it. You know, this is it. Fortunately, I want to believe that I'm blessed with this mind, this thing that I can hear a good thing when I you know, you know, so that's what I heard, and I said I would want to work with this person. And you know, it just grew from there, because now I started involving her in my band. You know, that's why even in her biography, she does mention that the first encounter with, because she was intrigued with jazz, loved jazz, jazz singing. You know, that's her forte. That's what she's good at. She loves jazz, but she ventures into other music. But jazz is the base. You know, so fortunately, jazz also was the base. So we went on. You know, she started singing in my band, and like they say, the rest is history, because we start developing that, you know, being my band. And you know, as time goes, you could tell that this person is growing. She's growing in her own way, in her own right. She now has developed her own voice. She has developed her own style. She has developed her own liking. She now knows she's got the base. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants. I think that's when we started saying, look, let's work on something that you are comfortable with, that you know. And I don't know whether people know that one of the things that Tia says, she's a hell of a lyricist. She writes like yo. You know, I've been around people who write you know, music like lyrics and stuff, but she's deep. You know. And now you take that, and then you take her voice, and then you take her talent, you know, and you put that together, and like dynamite. You know, like I was like, wow. And then we started. Then, like, I think 3 years after she joined my band, we now started doing her stuff. You know, saying, look, I've got my thing. I know where I've done. How about we have this kind of relationship? You know, that's when we started a manager relationship, a composer relationship, and those kind of things. We started, and it now started into being business partners. Now we started doing a lot of things within the music circles, you know, as business partners, and obviously our friendship grew to a point where like family now, you know, we tied like that, you know. So that started that process, developing her music, going there, and then we experimented quite a lot. We went into as many studios as we can, some shady studios, some you know, some good ones, because we really didn't want, because remember, an album is not just an album. That's a representation of you. That's your voice. That's what you want the world to know you. So you really need to be, when you say I'm going to get into a studio and want to do an album or maybe compose for somebody, you really need to be ready for that. You really need to put in cognizance that this is what the world is going to see. So how do you want the world to perceive you? So we did that. We experimented a lot. We would spend countless times, you know, countless hours, countless days away from family, away from people. Sometimes we'd just, you know, walk away from our places and just be in one place, maybe a weekend, and then we just work, we just immerse ourselves in music and stuff. So that's what we did. And given her experience and my experience and what I've done for this industry, you know, from working with quite a lot of people and listening to quite a lot of people, and remember what we talked about in the first session that we had is that experience cannot be replaced. You know, you can't replace experience. That's where you learn. That's so we had to put that, and fortunately we had a lot in common. We gelled. So, and the idea of the album came. So how about you do an album? You know, how about you do an album?
So basically you were more than a manager, because that's what people think, that the role that you played in terms of, you know, your partnership with T.S, just the management.
No,
and they don't know who you are.
There was this other things.
It goes deeper.
Her album was 6 years in the making. Before it was released in 2019, it was 6 years before. That music, we've been working on that music and on that sound. See, that's also what is important.
The sound. Yeah, no, that's true.
You know, because we took time because now the sound represented her. You know, it had to represent her. So that's what we did. We worked on that. You know, how do I play a role in her sound? That's very important. That's also, so that it doesn't sound like me.
It's like it's your album.
It's my album, or it's our album. You know what I'm saying? We become a duo or something like that. No, I was a very integral part of the music because I was there in the composing, the instrumental part of it is me, of course, and stuff like that. But our influence together, you know, I had to put in mind, Kana, this is about her at the end of the day. You know, so she has to be comfortable in it. You know? So that's what we did, and
and it was a live album, ne?
It was a live album. We recorded live, the live band.
Who picked the band members?
That's a very interesting question. Fortunate with us is that we have a very good relations with at least 90% of the musicians that were in the album. It's people that we did gigs with all the time. They played, so they knew the music like the back of their hands. So even when we went into the studio, we spent a small considerable amount of time practicing it, as opposed to getting session musicians and getting them ready for the studio, because it's the music that we've already. And then one other critical thing we said that, look, this is how we play this music live, and people like it. Can we make an undertaking that when we go to the studio, we kind of capture that too, so that it doesn't sound strange to people when they hear it? Said, oh, so little was changed from how we do it live and how we did it, how you would normally say, I got session musicians, they do that. So it wasn't a problem when we had to pick musicians extra from the ones that we normally use, because they already know the music. We've played it with, like, we played 4 years with the same band, 4 or 5 years with the same band, same people. You're bound to have that particular relationship where you say one, they're already there. You say two, they're already there. You don't worry about extra practices.
So that was not a challenge.
That was not even, because even in the studio, we had an engineer that we normally have had worked with before. So he knew our sound. We knew our sound, how it sounds like and how it needs to sound like, because he has engineered a few times, Other than that, he has been around where we'll be doing live gigs, so he actually knew the sound. So even when we went into the studio, it's a different setup, but the dynamics almost are the same. So that was the fortunate part, because it also kind of limited, for lack of a better word. It made sure that we don't spend too much time, which is quite expensive, in the studio, because now we had to do fewer takes. What we concentrated a lot, even after post-production, was a little bit of changes here and there, but the gist and the basic of the songs, were captured nicely, without any hassles or waste of time. So we decided to do the album. Said, okay, let's do the album.
How was the energy though?
The energy
like
was
the translation, because I hear you say you worked with the band, you performed with the band on stage, and now that energy from stage to studio, how
it was not lost.
It
was not lost, because what we did was we took the feel, the feel that you hear on the album itself. That's why the decision to do a live album was the best one, because that feel that makes us feel good every time we play with each other in front of an audience or in a practice room preparing for a gig. We took that feel, that unity, that sound, and just we treated the recording like any other.
It's a live show.
It's a live show, or it's a practice before a live show, which has to sound, how you practice for
very similar to
what you're going to be doing for the people. So that's what we did. That's what we did. Everybody, and the added element was that the energy started to be a notch up. Now people started adding one or two beautiful things there, and then now it gave it a different excitement and stuff
happened.
like that. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, you still have to do voice overdubs. You still have to change one or two notes there. Changing them means you still have to do the same energy. So that also was an added challenge. But because we had this this easy energy, the synergy. Also, you could, the synergy. That's the right word. You couldn't hear that. This was done 2 hours later or a day later. This and that. But the 12 tracks in the album were done live. Like everything was there's nothing pre-recorded. There was no anything synthesized, or I was even proud of myself that I even played percussion in the most important song. So Homu, our 12th track, and I played it live. So that for me was the beginning of the journey we started 6-7 years prior, pushing the album, and people sometimes take things for granted. Like, for instance, having a title for a song.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you call it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you call the album? I mean, we had a to and fro.
Yeah.
You know, to and fro. What I liked about our to and fro in terms of naming the album and the layout and stuff, we'll talk about it just now. Let's start with the naming of the album. Is that our engagement was from the same direction.
Okay.
It wasn't like, no, he comes with that, come with that. No.
Yeah.
So it just showed that we were speaking in one, but we had to arrive at that point where we say, oh no, okay, let's name it this, let's name it that, let's you know. So that also helped in terms of now the design, because we did that. No, we didn't call anybody to say, obviously in terms of graphic designing and stuff like that, you get a graphic guy to do all those other things. But as to the content and how it should look like and stuff like so that speaks to the relationship that we build, because everything else that has to fall into place before you go and put it on a music shop or put it online was so easy, you know, so easy, because it was unconsciously premeditated. You know, without even talking to each other. We already had it. So when we speak or spoke about it, it was like, oh, okay, so we're on the same page. But you know, that was that synergy. I like that word. That synergy was built from the relationship that we had, you know, musically and business wise, that we had a long time ago. So we did that. We did Torokamino, and
the album's just the reflection of the relationship. That's an important aspect, which people take for granted, I think. Exactly. You know, the relationship is key. It's key. It's key, you know.
And add to that, a good relationship, a working relationship is key, because we do have relationships, but they're here, not there. One other thing that's important that we need to also, you know, share with between me and TS and with your viewers is that we eliminated competition between the two of us. If you find no need for competition, I'm telling you, your prosperity is unlimited. You know, but if you find healthy engagement, that doesn't mean we didn't have different opinions. No, it doesn't mean that. But how you address those different opinions, you know, it dictates how you're going to relate in actually achieving a particular goal, which people forget that a goal has to be a common goal.
True.
When you say a person is a partner, whether it's a business, whatever, you have a goal. Let's say you want to make money, but how you address that goal, that's critical. But it has to be a common goal. It has to be. You might come from different directions, but it has to be a common goal. Because now we are reaping the success because of the common goal and the common thinking of the goal that we want to achieve. We are reaping the rewards of, you know, thinking alike, conceding when you have to concede, and concede because you know it's for a common goal, which is for the common good. See, that's very important also. Common good. That's what musicians mostly we lack. I'll give you an example, because I know we did a little bit, but I really want to drive this point home for the benefit of everybody, is that even in a band, I think that's why we always had a very successful band members, meaning having band members serving longer in our band, 3, 4 years, 5 years and stuff like that. Because what we instilled in them is that, yes, you come with a skill. Your skill is what's required here, but a goal is our goal.
It's shared amongst everybody.
It has to be, but it's our goal. We are serving the TS brand goal, not individual. Because if we serve individual goals, you're gonna get cockiness. You're gonna get people bragging about how best they can play and this one. So we make sure for how we and then sometimes you get a person playing for you, but he will say, no way, I played that band plays nicer. You know, you get those kind of things. But it's up to you as mostly band director and mostly TS to say, how do we, without not making people feel uncomfortable, direct them to a point where they understand that they are working towards a particular common goal that has nothing to do with their goals. But put it in a way that it's respectful, it's proper, and it's humane. You understand? But people must know that we are not there to serve their interests. We are there to serve TS brand interest. We are there to serve her music. We are there to serve the growth of and the commercial viability of this particular brand.
The bigger picture.
The bigger picture. That's the right way. We always bring up these nice, beautiful words. Beautiful.
The bigger picture. Yeah, but that's true. That's true.
The bigger picture might not have me, might not have you, but it has a goal. The goal is this.
When you speak like that, you remind me that sometimes we forget that music is actually bigger than us. It's bigger.
You're saying music. I say art.
Art.
Art is bigger.
It's bigger than
entertainment
us.
industry is bigger
it's
than
bigger
us.
Than
It's huge. That's why I always live by the principle that was also brought up by Sis Miriam Makeba. It says, look, music is healing. It brings healing. So if you do things from that premise, I don't mind what it is, whether it's amapiano, jazz, gospel, you name it. When you get on that stage, and I don't like calling it stage, I like calling it podium, because the meaning is just different, or pedestal. When people put you in that pedestal, that podium, stage is something else. We go on stage, it's fine. But when somebody puts you in that pedestal and says, entertain me, talk to me, I might not have a good day. I might not have 1, 2, 3, 4, but when I hear your music, that's why you'll see, even in our industry, whether it's locally, you'll get one person gets 10 gigs all over the country, because that person speaks to that audience, speaks to that individual. So you put a person in a pedestal. So that's for us, like we're discussing. But that's very important. We instilled that in musicians that work with us, and 90% of them appreciated it. That's why they lasted this long. That's why they started appreciating and even applying it in their own environments. When you start respecting the end user, when you start respecting the goal, your stay in the music industry is gonna be longer than a person who's cocky and thinks that listening and listening to what people say, listening to what authorities say, and taking confidence that they lead you to a better place, how to play a song particularly, a song better, how to articulate a particular mission better, if when you start taking confidence in that. So most of our band members did that. They to answer your question, they really took us in confidence that even if they can be as good as and they play for so and so who might be looked like whatever, they took confidence in us to say, look, these people, they actually know what they're doing, and we can see. And we didn't disappoint. We some of them, we even had to make them play in places that they've never played before. Put them in places that they've never been before, and they were so appreciative. And that's what it's all about, because we achieved the mission, the goal, and they still grow. Because one thing that what we shared with the band is that if you can't be in a situation where you don't grow. Growth can be in many ways, whether you're learning something or you're growing, or you take that to apply somewhere and stuff like that. So it's important that musicians stay in a collective or a band or a group that it challenges you and you grow. And when you feel that you're not growing, move. Don't stay there, because one, you're going to be defiant, you're going to be cocky, and you're going to always be in loggerheads. So for us, me and TS, is that we love people who grow. And if a person wants to leave the band because now they feel and they've grown enough, we're always happy, because we know at least we have imparted a particular level of competency to that person that, that person is going to take and apply it somewhere. we become sort of like a school, or you know, something like
they'll
that.
They'll add value to the next guy, to the next
add
band.
value to the next guy. And some of them we can see in their own entities, they applying some of the principles that we do, and it's also it's heartwarming to see that something that they've learned on us as a brand, they're also, you know, using for their own personal, you know, growth and you know, in things that they lead. So
there was a skills transfer there.
Yeah, if we try to be academic.
I like. So the most important thing is that the application of what you've learned.
Yes, the application of what you've learned, and trying to better the standard, you know,
and trying to beat the standard. True.
We have this product, we have this album. The music is there. We go into the studio. How do we make the music good? That's one. We do that. Okay. But now it doesn't end in good in what? How do we make the whole presentation look good and commercial? Okay, here and there. No, we can put this picture here, put that. Now, let's carve the sleeve. It's presentable. It's good. You understand what I'm saying? Those little things, they have nothing to do with what your music, how it sounds like, but they are part of that. We're talking skills transfer, we're talking those kind of things. Now, how does that apply now into moving forward? Now, what's the next step? You need to start talking to the business people. You know, now you start talking to companies, because your music has to go into music stores. Your music has to go on TV. Your music has to go on radio. You start. It has nothing to do with you saying we're practicing kafai. No,
you're wearing another cap.
That's another cap. You understand?
You
need to now start wearing those different caps. You know, a media person calls, hey, how about an interview there? You wear another cap, because now you become a salesperson for your own product.
That's true.
You understand? That's your move. Now you start going into people's boardrooms. Now you need to wear this cap of an executive, because now you're becoming executive of your music, of your company, or your brand. Now you are that guy with the, you know, or that lady with the suit, tie, you know, nice hairstyle, nice shoes, nice. You have to be good English.
Business.
You know what I'm saying? You need to be that person. Not that guy. You know those ones. That take these things for granted. So what do you do now? Now you become an all-rounder. You become an all-rounder. That's what this industry wants. It wants all-rounders. But not just all-rounder because for the sake of all-rounder. All-rounder, be good at everything. The standards, the level, everything has to be proper. You understand? That's what we went through with this album. Before we could say, okay, we get a PR company, we get a marketing company, distribution company, we used to do this and so on. Until now it's easier because of our growth and the limited time and now the demand for her, you know, the music. We start saying, look, we can't do this on our own now. Now what do? You start to outsource. Tactically. That's outsourcing. You know more that guy now. Who runs around doing everything at the same time, sometimes missing the appointments, coming 5 or 2 minutes late. Some people don't have patience for that. Now what you do is you outsource. You know why? Because you can't be in Cape Town today and be in Botswana in the morning. It's virtually impossible.
No, it's not.
It's virtually impossible. We all want to sell our CDs kaboot. But you can't want people in Cape Town to know your product. Yet we rekisa kaboot mafiki and there's no way that it can get to Cape Town.
There's no way.
So that means you have to go through retail stores now.
You
know, you have to go there. Now you start outsourcing your certain parts of your business
now.
You know, hoping that you are business minded enough that when you get a gig, it's a 2 rand away there, 5 rand away there. So when now things get where they need to get, you go there. Okay, 5 rantele, it will get me a PR company. 2 rantele, it will get me that. That will get me that. And what you do, you sit at home. And what you do monitoring and evaluation. That's a smart way, I believe. And that's how we do it.
Now you're managing.
Now you're managing. I was getting to that name. Now you're managing. Now you're managing. Now, how will it TS? You're thinking, no, I want to say, no, what. But now TS becomes a manager because she's made it easy for her to be able to do what she loves most, which is singing and stuff, and not be bothered about the bambiri and what. She made it possible for her to say, look, I employ. So what she does every now and then, she gets feedback. So that means she's now doing what most artists don't do, in touch with their career where it is. Because most artists and most singers, most instrumentalists, they lose on the business side of things because they don't have people that they can tap into. Funko, hey Mona, hey, how many CDs? Hey Mona, that interview. But you're not doing it ilwe now. So that's what she does now. What do I do now? As a manager, it makes my job easier as a manager because now we just manage service providers. We just manage service providers. And now, me and her, for the past a year or 2 or 3 ago, we're able to now go back into our creative space. Remember, our creative space was taken by this boardroom. Now we are able to say, okay, now let's go back to the creative space because we have these people in confidence.
Now you can focus on the music.
Then we can focus again now into what brought the whole
thing together.
Noise together.
Nah, that's true.
You understand? So that's the approach that we do, and I hope people watch this to see. Try it this way. It works, bro. It works. It's not by accident that her debut album was nominated for SAMA. It was many years of hard work and smart work, smart thinking, smart connection, smart. It was not like, you know me, I know you, I know you can. No, it was not that. It was hard work and smart work. You know what I'm saying? So we did that, Katoroka. That's why in advent of COVID-19, you know, we were talking the other day, people would really people would be seeing good things about it. All of us had to adapt to this new change. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And the fortunate part of it is that we still on this album. There are many things that are going to come, you know, which I can't announce now. But there's so many things that we're working on, and the brand is growing like nobody's business. Because now what we did is we spent almost 2020 strategizing for 2021. You know, that's another thing that you need to do.
Planning.
You know, you strategize, you plan. So we learned about the restrictions, we learned about the limitations, we learned about what we can and cannot do, and we coupled that with the industry. Where is the industry now? You understand? And how do we see ourselves there? How can we still keep our sanity in the inactiveness that's in the industry now? There are many things to do. There's so many things that you can do. You know, the frustration that we have now, half of them can actually be taken away by being smart, plan, you know, and do what's necessary. Yeah, so this is where we are. Are we looking at doing the second project in terms of another album? Of course. You know, you can't just as you do that and travel the journey of the project, you learn certain things. You know, you grow because we started interacting with the who's of in the industry, and we started speaking a different language, and we started engaging more with the audience. You know, that is 2019 to half of 2020 and so on. And we revisited what the material that we had before and say, how can we now start seeing what we can do, you know? So without saying, no, we're getting into a second project or not. We just think in terms of our planning and say, look, we really need to be creatively engaged all the time with what we've learned, with what people have given us as feedback, what radio stations give us feedback almost on a regular basis. You get feedback from the Samros, you get feedback from the Galos, you get all those feedback from people, ordinary people. Sometimes we get amazed, how people still react. I mean, you and I, when we arrived at this place, there's this gentleman here who like, and started playing, Homian, you know what I'm saying, and randomly. So sometimes it amazes us that people actually the impact that we have made in a short space of time. So we're moving in that direction. We're moving in terms of the album.
Any big things to look forward to now?
Any big things to look forward to?
Look, in terms of the album, without you obviously spilling the beans, giving things away that you don't want to talk about.
It wouldn't be spilling the beans. It's just the general things that they need to happen in order for you to complete the picture, the album.
Would you say it made a mark? Or it exceeded your expectations, Torokamino?
You tell me, when your debut album gets nominated in 1 year, you release it and it gets nominated for the best adult African contemporary in two categories, if not three, two categories. You tell me, in the South African Music Awards.
That would be exceeding.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's one thing. Let me just finish this point. It's one thing also to get a call from one of the prestigious programs on TV.
Yeah.
To come and do a feature. Afternoon Express on SABC3. I'm naming just a few. Just a few. In that moment, you go to a place that's reserved for the who's in the music industry. A venue, a jazz venue, the Maraki Club, and get invited out nowhere. Well, it's from somewhere, but nowhere. Let's put it nowhere.
No, that's.
I'm just naming a few in that short space of time.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
No, we're talking
in festivals that normally would get the who's of the industry, and you get invited. You don't apply, you get invited. That's what T.S has done in a short space of time. So let's talk about that and say what mark. Radio stations. Radio stations. You even get recognized in events that normally a debut person or artist would not, but you get that because of the work. Remember, you talking about an album that was released in 2019, but I've given you a period of almost 7-8 years
of the time it took to compile.
And in that period, she was still doing one of some, or if not most of the big festivals in this country. It's just that she was not released, and she hasn't recorded yet. But she was in there. She did Morning Live on SABC. She did even before she was recognized as the best, adult African contemporary in the summer 26. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So she was doing that. So that recognition or that mark, it culminated into that. You understand? You don't just wake up one day and then make a mark.
No, you don't do that. No, it's work.
You work. You work. So for people to recognize you, you work for that. So to your question, that Torokamino as an album has to be complete, so that when it gets pushed even to higher levels, it has all the elements. You're talking music video, you're talking, all those elements that need to be put in place, so that we know now with a complete picture.
Yeah.
So far to say that you know, it needs to go out there now. It's there already, but now we need to complete that whole picture. Yeah, so there are many big things in terms of that are in place. Like we talked about earlier, alluded earlier. 2020 was part of the planning, you know, time, because there was no disturbances, there was no this and that. So we're planning to that. So big things, yes. Some I can say, some I cannot say, but I'm definite that in our next series and so on, definitely I will be talking to say, look, this, that. But we don't stop. We don't stop here. The next project, yeah, of course, we thinking about it. We sitting down. We selecting songs. We there. You know, music video. Of course, you know, you have to complete the picture. You have to complete the picture. The shape of it, the what of the content of it, it's a different matter altogether. But you know, we want to complete the picture. Do we want to do tours? You know, yeah, of course. We want to do tours. We want to do as many tours as humanly possible, and as safe, you know, as places can afford us. We'll definitely travel. We'll travel. That's for sure. We'll travel.
What would you say your major challenges were while compiling the album, working on the album?
The major challenges
and good, not just challenges, and what you guys learned as a partnership from those very challenges. Don't be scared to even talk about mistakes. Hey, we blew money. We blew money.
Okay, that's number one.
Unnecessarily for you know. Hey,
look,
it happens. It happens.
Before we finally did Torokamino, we blew money. We blew money in a way that it was not reckless. We blew money in a sense, in this industry also, you must know who to trust. Not every person only a little room here or a little warehouse there or has the capability to do what they say they will do. So that's what I mean when I say we blew money. We look back and say, wow.
In terms of trusting the wrong people.
Trusting the wrong people.
Yeah.
With the right equipment, with the right mind, but it's not the correct one.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit you. It suits them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's before that, before we got into Torokamino, because when we got into Torokamino, most challenges necessarily emanating from our experiences.
Yeah.
You understand? So, but I'll go. There are challenges, Baba. There's never been where. So that's what we did. So what we've learned from not experimenting, getting into different relationships and whatever, and which involved a lot of money, you know, and a lot of money that, quite frankly, we lost. We blew. You know, we sat down and say, we are not going this way.
Yeah.
If we go this way with the same, it has to, you understand? It has to be, we have to do it that way. Yeah. That's why we even took a decision and said, look, we know we want to support small business.
Yeah.
In terms of guys who've got studios and stuff like that, but we're not doing individual studios anymore. That's a fact. That's why we opted and say, look, let's go to RBF. It's a reputable enough institution that's got accountability processes, and it's a professional establishment. That's why we said we do RBF or we do any other studio in Johannesburg possibly that has those administrative structures, you know, so that when we are not happy after something, we have a recourse. So what went into our budget was RBF. Said, look, let's go to RBF. It falls under a reputable company, SABC, and they've got processes in case we're not happy with 1, 2, 3, 4. You understand? So that's challenge that we curved, we stopped that. We're not doing individuals anymore. We're not doing and then we do that. We would have achieved the same thing, I think. We would have, even if we went into somebody else's thing, because it was not about the place for us. It was about the content, what we have, and the creative minds to that, and the equipment. And most guys in Mafike, they've got that. But let's be honest, we couldn't get it done. We blew a lot of money.
So the way you guys wanted it.
The way we wanted it. And the way we have been exposed in terms of working in a lot of studios and the service that they provide. It wasn't to our satisfaction, and it's a fact. And nobody can dispute that. So that the challenge now was that we went into RBF and said we're gonna do the entire album here. Now the challenge obviously would be now in this our RBF was equipment, you know, because they were limited in terms of what you can bring and what they have. So most of the things now we had to bring, you know, and we really didn't have a challenge in terms of engineering or slots or anything that has to do with now getting the work done. You know, in fact, you know, the generosity of time was on our side. You know, in terms of not them being relaxing because whatever, but being understanding. Okay, we can go over 30-40 minutes an hour, which is rare in a studio thing because time because studio is money. It's a factor. Considering even go RBF, they use session engineers, so they get paid the time they spend on the desk. You know, so but the engineer was and not even breaking any laws, but was like, you know, this is bigger than RBF. I'm taking it very far. This is bigger than RBF. This is bigger than us. This is something that's gonna be you know, something that's gonna sell. I'm trying to get the beacon of, and it's gonna be it's something that this person is gonna be. You understand what I'm saying? It's gonna she's gonna use this as, you know. So it's treasure for her and stuff. So there's certain things that we've learned as South Africans. You know, the biggest one is Ubuntu. You know, we used. I've seen it in play for RBF. You know, where that, you know, you talk to the management there. You know, Bopra Mike and stuff like that. They give you the time of the day. They even solve problems that you don't even know that they exist. By trying to make the whole process you know, it was so made easy because they understood the bigger picture. You understand? So, you know, talking to Bramaik was a bliss, was a breeze, whatever. You know, so you look forward to even if you didn't have to see him, you look forward to say, hey, you know, you know, even the other colleagues and so on. You know, so they made it easy. So that the challenges that because of that intervention, people really understanding and knowing what needs to be done, you know, and also our timing, what we chose as a best time to work and do the album. We made sure we eliminate certain challenges. Of course, the challenges is availability of musician. You get and now it came to a point where now certain times we have to juggle because probably that one won't be available, that one be. So that nearly cost us to say we lose a day or two or a week. You know, so availability of musicians. You know, that's we did almost half of certain things without the drama. You know, because the drama was like doing other things that Julie was booked to do at Logan. So we had to go through the processes too. Other challenges, to be honest, in terms of Harriet's album itself, were transporting people. Now you have to go drop Mankai, you are tired, you are there. Because here's the important thing when Nakopo is that you need to make a process as comfortable as possible and joyful for the people that have to come and give you what you want. So certain things you really need to make them. We had a choice. Bring yourself. Get your own food. You know those things. But because when you do them, they bring some element of easiness to people. People don't have to worry about certain things that normally they would do. So that's another challenge that we had to You know, we had to cater for and do that. But it took time from us. It took quite a lot of doing from our side. You know, to say, look, we don't have to do this. This industry works in this particular way, but we are going to do it because we want people to be pleasantly okay. English, you know, to be, and they delivered because we did that. We took that challenge and made it our own, our own thing. Remember, now you are dealing with a person who's got family. She's a mother, she's a wife. Yeah. So we do have lives, one way or the other. Same thing with me. I'm a father. You know, so that also plays into how long you can sustain staying away from all these things. You know, those kind of challenges. So those, in terms of the recording itself, that period was most of our challenges. To say, we had to come with interventions so that we don't overload people with unnecessary, you know, burdens. You know, they will actually take their mind off, you know, into judging people's character. You work, you stop the session. And you understand you work around that to a point where it doesn't disadvantage you, but it doesn't disadvantage the other person, but it works. So basically that
for the both of you,
for the both of us.
So you used guys from Mafeking in terms of your band members,
all local.
Local guys,
all local.
Yeah, because I could imagine it was going to be a challenge. T.S Maftown and the guys from Let's Talk.
If we custodians local empowerment artistically don't do it but speak it, it's hypocritical. Do we have good broadcasters, Mafeking? Hell yes. Do we have good videographers, Mafeking? Hell yes. Do we have good musicians, Mafeking? Hell yes. So what we had that option. We had that option to take 1 or 2 people from outside, but we said at what, it was not a cost thing, but at what personal cost in terms of growing people here. You know, you should see and check the pride that these guys we used in the album they have. Even when we were nominated, it was part of them. It was like they are nominated because they were proud. You know, you should also look at other musicians that didn't work in the album, but know that we got their brothers and sisters, their friends into the album. There's a possibility that one day it will be them by somebody else, and then achieve that success. So it was greater than just saying, so let's get so and so from so and so and place and stuff like that. No, it was not even an option. Let alone others played with us for a long time. We could have gotten anybody from whatever instrument, from whatever years that the person is playing, because it's a different thing. It's not a gig, it's a studio. So we could have said no about a competent whatever music session musician or studio, because they come in different, you know, forms. But we said no, the ones that we have, they'll be capable enough. Fortunately, 1 or 2 of them have studio is what they do on a daily basis, so they got there. But others, it was, you know, actor karba briefing they were intimidated. I can name names. So we don't want to go there. You know,
So it have lifted guys from here, which is very, very important.
It did. Not
just for the steam, but for the for the pride of the place.
The pride for the place.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's a summer nominee right there. And it was Mafeking driven.
Exactly.
That was it.
And as a person,
I don't think a lot of people know that.
No, not a lot of people. That's why I'm happy that we're doing this session.
I don't think a lot of people. Because then, to be honest, I did not even know that.
Look,
I didn't know that.
Most people would download the songs. They would get them online. Online, you really don't get what you get out regular CD. When you buy a CD, you have the luxury of the cover sleeve, one of the names and stuff like that. If push comes to shove, get the CD and check who worked on that album. And check who worked on it. You've got guys from Mathibe, Ntsiwa, the Unity, you know, your Rivera Parks and stuff like that. So it was just a collective of musicians from Africa who came and did that, and from different backgrounds. Some have their own bands, some, you know. So if they benefited financially, they also benefited publications wise, because you take that. Rona Babang will from a school that whatever publications that you have, use that in your CV. You know, some could take that and say, look, I worked on this album. It's a Samina nominated album. So I'm that good. You know, my bass or my piano or my guitar or my drums or my backing vocalist or my percussion playing, you know, is part of this successful album and so like that. So you use that. Certainly I do, even if I'm part of that, but I use it. I everywhere I go.
No, to say
hey, watch me, I'm a summer nominated. You know, and I'm not shy to do it. I'm not shy to do it.
No, because all the summer nominated artists from Maftown have been Motswako.
Yes.
Motswako artists. I think KB has been nominated as well. I think she's been nominated for a summer. Then you guys again. Hey, but that's big.
That's big, Baba.
Hey, that's big, Baba.
That's big. You know, sometimes we do sit with tears and reminisce what this is. And remember, something about a nomination, it's honestly when you go to school and get your qualifications, it stays with you.
Yeah.
It's your certificate. It's your kick endorsement. It's yours. It doesn't die. That tag, she's a summer nominee. It doesn't go away. It's a tag that stays. So we get to do bigger things because of we have this tag and other tags, but we have this one that's a national, if not an African recognized, you know, accolade, you know, and it's sitting there, and you know, because like any other thing, your Grammys is once you get nominated, it means that you in the class.
No, you're there.
You're there. You're in the class. Just that fella, you didn't win that.
You didn't win. Bring it home.
You didn't bring it home.
Yeah, but they recognize the effort.
And then also you look at in that category. It was in that category. You know, the best of the best. One or two of them are legends, and she gets put in that
within that category.
Within that category, about wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it is huge. It is big, and it's gonna stay with us until. That tag doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. It's a record. It's a record that stays. You know. And
how do you move away from it now? That tag.
The tag. You shouldn't move away from it.
Like say now creatively.
Creatively.
Yeah.
Creatively, that means whatever lessons you've learned from it, build on them. Don't start. Build. There's a difference between starting and say, no, build from that, because that tag is a base. A level that you need to move from here to there, not start again, say no. You've learned, you know what it takes to get that, you know. So build. So moving away is not getting rid of it, it's now building from it. We can only build from there and achieve more that is in line with achieving more of those things. Remember, next year she can't say, or whenever the summers that we decide also to be part of, can't say newcomer. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can't.
So the thing gets narrower, and the quality grows, because now you need to find yourself in other categories which are now like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
So now it means you have to build from that one and then try to now reach out to others. Best album of the year, or album of the year. So let's put it that way. You know, those kind. You start looking at your category and say, they've got this in the jazz side. Okay, now let me see whether that other song can be in another category. Or that. You start dissecting and looking at your opportunities here and there. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the audience plays a huge role in you making all these plans.
Yeah.
You know, all these plans. So we start there first. Feed them. Feed them. They feed back, and then the industry picks you up. That's how it's done, Bab. You know, just wake up and then you go to the ground. The grass is green, but make them happy. Make them like your brand. Make your brand with them. And then what they do, they feed back. When they feed back, then that's it.
Yeah.
Then the industry just picks you up like that.
Yeah.
Then the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Weren't you guys arrogant after the nominee there?
I was. Don't lie, Baba. I was.
Sure
you know why, ne?
It's arrogant than TF. Than TS.
Nah. No, I can't speak on her behalf. Now I'll tell you my arrogance. Like his arrogance. If she was arrogant. Nah, I don't know. Now here's my arrogance. And is it a natural thing? I don't know. And why arrogance is a bad word? It's not a bad word. It depends where you come from.
Yeah.
You know, it depends where you come from.
Or how you use it.
How you use it. When you spend half of your life proving yourself, and people can see that this guy's good, this guy's great. It's not just good, it's great. But their mission in life is to, all the time,
bring you down.
Or talk differently, negatively, differently. I don't like, let's not use the word negative, differently from what you could be or are. You develop this thing,
yeah.
Not meaning the bad way, but what you do is that bona mugai serious. So it's like a fella. Let me just show you. But this is, I'm not hating, I'm not spiteful, I'm not what, but I'm as arrogant as a person who says, look, don't undermine a human being. Don't, not me. Human being general.
So like been undermined. They don't know these girls.
But you know, tomorrow tomorrow ki multi-millionaire. You don't do that to human beings.
You know what I mean?
So my arrogance comes from there. Arrogance like, made it.
I did it.
Yeah, and I'm not specific to a person, but I'm just saying, and I'm just like, I made it. Yeah. The album that I produced, arranged, composed, part of, it's been nominated. You know, what is your story? Start believing in people. Let's start supporting each other. Let's stop bringing each other down. If you don't like what I do, walk away. Like don't. Like, you know, so arrogance it's within that context. T.S knows, and she nearly even like didn't like my attitude because it was like, you talk about that one. You know, she was like, you dare do that? I said, I'm joking. But in my heart of hearts, it was a sweet victory over those people thinking that about me or the project or the two of us. And unfortunately in this world, we're so into the public that some would make it public. You know, that's why sometimes we avoid certain public spaces or even social media at some point or certain comments. So other people couldn't hide it. Other people meant it well, but they said it in a nasty way, you know. So we went through that period. These celebrities. I don't know why they treat us like that, because they're sharp of it. I mean,
in your face.
Yeah, you know, like you know, so but it ain't so it ain't a little bit of arrogance, but coming from a particular context, you know, it really says to people, let's just stop doing this to each other, you know, and just support each other. That's why we work and do things for anybody who cares to invite us, who cares to talk to us, who cares. We do that. You know,
it's a social game.
It's a social game.
Music.
Today you've got clever words. I can see. You've been practicing. Yeah, you were Oxford. but we one thing that you stay humble, you stay on the ground, you do what you do best, and be thankful for the opportunity. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, not true.
You that's one thing that I will never miss, is being really thankful, and be thankful to the people that helped you and held your hand up to this far. You know, you do that, and people from the media, guys like you, you know, who take interest in what we do as musicians. You know, here we are, you know, you taking interest in what we do as artists. You being an artist yourself, you know what it takes. You know, so we're thankful for people like that really genuinely brings us up. You know, encourage us, make sure that we don't fail, make sure that we don't do, you know, funny stuff, you know, always in our case, when, you know, and always congratulating. Congratulating a good thing, you know, and so it makes you want to go back to a rehearsal room and do more, you know, and do what you do, because there's something about that song, you know, that made people to dance. So when people have that good feedback, you are able to say, let me go do that again, let me go do this. Yeah, man.
You know.
And
this one is an hour.
Yes.
This one then.
You and I can talk. But there'll be more. Let's do more, but let's do more.
It's a series.
That's a series. Yeah.
It's no longer part 1, part 2.
So yeah, no, we'll do. Maybe if we do another one, probably a final. We can do a Q&A now.
Yeah.
We can. I'm willing to answer questions from general public, you know, if your audience is willing to send you questions and ask me and stuff like that. I'm willing to answer certain questions. I'm willing to answer questions from aspiring producers, managers, and so on, you know.
Because I think people would love to know how you guys did it, to be honest.
Exactly.
To be honest.
Exactly.
How you guys did it, you know, born and bred, maybe some in Maftown.
Exactly.
Some nominee. You know,
how did that come about?
How did that come about?
Yeah,
people would know, would really like, because then now would love to know.
Exactly.
You know,
to the detail.
Yeah,
it's very important, and it's not a secret.
Yeah,
you know, we share. We have to share the success and how to reach that success,
and the failures and obstacles.
Exactly. I'm, you know, in closing, I'm one person that I don't really dwell too much on a problem or a challenge. When there's 100% something, I give a problem 10%. The rest of the 90%, I want solutions. That's how we work. That's how we got to where we are with TS. You know, like, hey, this thing's wrong. Let's fix it. Let's not labor on it. As long as you understand the intricacies that develop strategies in that time that you are left, you know, to actually. That's why we always move forward, because laboring on a problem or a challenge, it always either keep you stagnant or takes you back and frustrate you. But when you get it and address it, that's progress. Progress is that when you get a challenge and address it, that's what we call progress.
Yeah, you move on.
Move on.
Yeah. No, Mr. Mathibe,
Baba,
thanks for your time.
No,
man.
anytime.
Again.
Beautiful night.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah, like we said, at least this one's is a series now.
It's a series now.
Yeah, you know.
I know you'll do the magic with
that. Yeah, no, it's a series, this one. Okay, now I can't thank you enough for your time.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, today we hit an hour.
Wow. And at least today we were interacting.
You know what I mean?
That shows there's a lot out there. One day you'll be this side and I'll be that side.
You know what I mean?
You know, some kids from a certain village wanting to know how do you talk to these people? How do you know? We need that. We need people like you now to be on the other side of the lens and give these other kids. You know, not every child wants to be in front of the camera. You know, some kids just want to be at the back of the scene, really. So I'm hopeful that at some point in your career you'll come this side and share your wisdom.
You know what I mean? How it started,
and how do you get to talk to so many of these people? You know, and yeah, because it's a life. It's a life on its own.
True.
It's got its own things. Yeah, man.
No, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time,
Baba.
man.
Until next time.
Tsotsi Funk audience, it's Mr. Mathibe Godfrey Pilane. Don't forget, he's got social handles as well. You find him on socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Peace out.
Thank you very much, my man. Yeah.